Welcome to Save the Singles platform. My name is Prophetess Happiness Michael Ebube, and I'm here to speak to all the singles that come across this video. Today we're going to be treating the topic I titled, You Need This Fight. As a single person, have this at the front of your mind when you get into marriage, that there are fights that you must fight. I put it again, I said you must fight. There are battles you must fight as soon as you get into that marriage, and do it early. One of those fights is, for example, now, when you get into marriage, you guys are two different people with two different characters. You might have been dating for years and your husband never rests his hand on you. When you get into marriage, familiarity or becoming together may make him rest his hand on you. It may rest his hand not because he is a wife beater, not because he is a beast. You may did something that is very, very painful that he doesn't know the feedback, the reaction. He's just to rest his hand. When such a thing happens, dear single, this is what you need to do. Fight it at that very first time. I didn't say you should fight him. I didn't say you should retaliate. I mean, if he rests his hand on you, call him after that section. Either his family, anybody he loves, blow an alarm. Not in social media. I mean, someone he loves, or his mother, or his father, or your father. Bring somebody in. Give notice to somebody that your husband rests his hands on you. If you fight that fight at that moment, not by retaliating, but calling an attention, making a whistleblower, let somebody that is close to him come in and tell him, "Hey, guy, you disappoint me. I didn't expect you to do this. Why will you do this? No matter what your wife has done, you don't even have a right. You are not supposed to." Let somebody come and talk sense to him and say, "You are not supposed to beat your wife." This is a good fight that you need to fight. Fight it at the first attempt. At the very first attempt. If you tried it again, fight it again and tell him, "If you beat me again, I will do this. I will do that." Now, this will help him to retrieve, to discover the gentleman he is. When you are in a serious program, in a particular platform, maybe you have an occasion, they will always address gentlemen. That word gentleman simply means there is discipline in the life of a man. Your whistleblower is to bring the gentleness out of a man. They will say ladies and gentlemen. That's how they dress them. So your fight now is to bring the gentleman from the man, not to bring the beast, not to sponsor the beast in him, to award the beast in him, give him an award to continue. If you do this, that man will be conscious of himself and he will stop. Remember that this was not even him from the very beginning. What makes what makes abuse, fights, abuse marriage continue or come to existence in marriage is as the result that the first time the man did ba, the woman did not talk. Bo, the man did not talk. I will, the man will not talk. He heated her up. The woman will not talk. From the heat, from the beat, it will now progress to removing belt. You see that now? From there, it will progress to push. And at the end of the day, you may end up being killed unnecessarily. So at the very first beginning, you get into that home, Please. There will always be a misunderstanding. That one is real. There will always be a misunderstanding, especially when you guys get married early. But if this misunderstanding gets to the point that the man rests his hand, I heard that some women used to beat man. Well, if that happened, that maybe you talk, your wife slaps you, or carry bottle, or push things, break your television, sweetheart, you need to fight that fight. You just need that fight at that moment to make sure that that matter ends there. It will not repeat itself. Let everybody knows that this fight will not repeat itself. Let everyone knows that the beating will not repeat itself. Let everyone knows that the slap will not repeat itself. I knew very well that if you fight this fight at that moment, the first time, it will not continue. You will not migrate. It will not last. It will not be a norm in that home. So, know as a single person that when you get into marriage, misunderstanding will come. But don't let this misunderstanding build up a structure of violence in your home. Don't let it build up a structure of abuse in your home. Sometimes the misunderstanding may cause one person, for example, a woman, will start abusing the husband. Useless man. This, you are a foolish man. At that moment, listen, even though it is Christ that has dropped that wife for you, or it is God himself that opened your roof and dropped the wife or dropped your husband, there will be a misunderstanding. I tell you the truth. No matter how righteousness the man is, no matter how righteousness the woman is, there will be a misunderstanding. But when this misunderstanding comes, then it happens that the woman starts abusing you on abuse that is not necessary, that is very painful. Sometimes it could abuse your mother, your generation, your father, and everybody in your family. Come on. Fight that fight and make sure that that will not continue in your marriage. Make sure that that abuse will not continue. The first day she started, ended that day. If it repeats itself the second day, continue the fight and make sure that she would not continue abusing you to the level that you go and sleep and start having pains. A lot of men the abuse will be echoing in their head. This was what my wife said. Somebody will say to the husband, you are a non-entity. You are a gold digger. You are a liability. So many words will come that will make you destabilize. Like in the next 2 years of your life, you have not recovered from this abuse. Whenever you get married, please, as a single person, know that these are fights that you need to fight. Fight it early. Don't allow this thing to linger. Don't let it last for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. If that particular abuse and the violence become a landlord in your marriage, remember that tenants can never drive landlord. So don't let it build a structure and become a landlord in your home. Make sure that you give quick notice on time and tell to yourself that your marriage does not need abuse. It does not need violence. The third things I'm going to tell you is this: fight this fight on time. You need this fight. Whenever you people have a misunderstanding, make sure your spouse does not go out and stay for a long time. Now, here is my reasons. Many a time when fight comes, if you see a man drive out, there are some that will go to an eateries, a sit out, go and see friends, but a lot of them always end up in their exes' houses. So, you don't need this fight to get to the point that your husband would drive out, spend 4 hours, then finally come back. I'm talking to the women now. What always makes a man want to excuse you? is when the abuse becomes very unnormal. So he will decide to drive out so that he will not slap you. Are you with me now? So driving out so that he will not slap you, he may not really have where to go. So where will he end up? In an ex-girlfriend house. That one will happily go and bath, tie towel, go and cook indomie, and come and give him. So you don't let that fight, the quarrel, the misunderstanding you have lasted to the level that your husband had to go home and find comfort in the hands of his ex. So when you are fighting this fight, know that this is something that you need very early. Do it very early. Don't let your abuse be too massive, too big, become a nuclear bomb that when it landed in the house, bah, your husband cannot survive it. Early enough, end it. Early enough, make sure your words are light. Early enough, make sure he does not push him into the hands of another girl out there. Make sure that the words are light. Finish it on time. Call him when you know he has stepped out. Tell him you are sorry after you have passed your message. Those fights of making him not to spend hours outside when you people have misunderstanding is very important. Fight it very early. Don't allow your husband that in a little misunderstanding it will end up staying outside. The first time he's going to stay like 2 hours. Another day he will stay 4 hours. Another day he will stay 6 hours. If he continues like that, one day he will not come back. And when you ask him, he will tell you, if he fear you or respect you so much or love you so very much, he will say, I slept in a drinking parlor. I slept in my friend's house. I slept in this. He may not really tell you the truth until that one become a baby mama or something. So make sure that you follow up. Those are things that you do not allow it to build up in your home. Don't allow a fight that will lead your husband to go and stay outside in the period of that misunderstanding. Don't throw words into his head that will cause him to fall into a hands of Delilah. Don't allow it happen. So always make sure that your words are not too strong, not too heavy. It's not things that will echo in his head so that you will not lose him. So fight those fights very early because you need this fight in your marriage. Don't let them last. Don't let it linger. Don't let it take you many years before you discover that, if I've known, I wouldn't have been allowing him to stay outside or to drive out and all that. It is fine for him to drive out. The reason is because he does not want to hit you. But the point is this, he should not stay too long. You as a man, if you are listening to me on this episode, please, when you have a misunderstanding with your wife, don't go and stay too long outside. Drive out. It is normal for you to drive out. It's normal for you to step out, but please don't stay too long and don't go to your ex house. It is not the best way to seek peace at that moment. It's not the best place to seek refuge at that time. It is not the best place for you to be at that moment. This has caused a lot of men trouble. It has made a lot of men fall into temptation that they will not fall into. So the several thing for you to do is to drive around for like 30 minutes and 20 minutes, 1 hour, come back. Now to you ladies, some of you used to do an adjointment of the quarrel, that when the man managed to go out and come back, you wait for him at the door at the parlor. This is the fight I'm telling you. You need it. You need to fight and make sure that you fight yourself to end that fight, that continuation of quarrel on time. Don't allow it to become a landlord in your home. When your husband drive and come back, please don't repeat the issue. Don't start off the quarrel. Don't start off the fight. Don't pick up from where you stopped and now continue vibrating. Now remember what you wanted to say and the one you have not finished. Follow up as you are talking, you are tweeting at the same time. You are talking, you are sending WhatsApp at the same time. You are also running a message at the moment. You don't need that. All what you need to address a matter, come to a conclusion, then make peace. There will always be a storm, but please learn how to handle it. Then these are fights that you need in the marriage. Fight it. Don't let your husband go and be hanging out with his ex. You as a woman, don't go and be hanging out with your ex. It is not the best place to be. That you have an issues with your wife, with your husband, the best person you know you're gonna call to seek advice from is your ex. Come on now, what do you expect him to tell you? Are you with me? If you're listening to me, please be with me. This is not the best place to be. Fight that fight at that moment. And talking to your ex on time at the very early stage of your marriage. Don't go and seek help from your ex. As a woman, don't do that. Don't call him when you have trouble. Or else he will want to come and comfort you and console you. From comforting and consoling, he go first hold your hand. From holding hand, he go hug you. From hugging, he go stay for the hugging. From there, he go kiss. From kissing, you know the number 5 things that will happen now. So it is not the right person you should call. Fight that fight of making sure that you don't fall back to your exes when you get into marriage. It's a fight that you need to fight and end it early, end it on time. Don't let it linger. It is a good fight that you need to fight. Just as I tell you, don't postpone this fight. Please don't postpone them. Fight it that time. Abusive, fight it that time. It will definitely pop up. Even though you are married to a pope, a pastor, a prophet, it will come up. Fight it early. End it. Don't allow it. Don't postpone it. Don't allow it stay with you in your marriage. Abusive in marriage, violent in marriage, running back to your exes, fight it. Then quarrel. Don't let the length of your quarrel, the days of your quarrel to be too long. Fight it on time, end it on time. It is something you need to do, and do it right when you get married. If you do it and end it, you will have a peaceful home. My earnest desire is for you to have a peaceful home. This will give you a peaceful home, and you will have a happy marriage, and you will stay happily. My greatest desire for you is for you to be happily married. My earnest desire for you is for you to be happily married. And I wish you the best of all. Hope to see you maintaining your wedding dance in your marriage by not allowing violence to take place. Fight it on time so that you won't turn your husband to a beast. That's not who he is. Things happen that push him to become that. Fight it on time so that you won't turn your wife to a prostitute, so that he will not fall into the hands of his ex and you now end up having a child that is not your own. Fight it on time. End it and come back together. No, it is normal. It is okay for you guys to quarrel. I didn't say you shouldn't. It is okay. I didn't say you shouldn't fight. It is okay. Like a normal fight. The fight I'm talking about, not the punching one and all that. So please end it on time and settle it and come back in peace and continue your journey in marriage. I'm just here as your lecturer, as your teacher, to help you and to give you expo as a single person, that when you come into this classroom that I am, these are things that you need to see. But this is the expo. Solve this mathematics this way by fighting this fight on time. It will do you a very good of good. It will do you good. It will do you good. If you can fight it on time and end it on time, you will have a smooth journey and a peaceful marriage. God bless you. All the singles that are ready to get married, welcome to this classroom. I wish you well. You will come out the best. In marriage, you will never get F9 if you are following this your role model. You will be on credit, pass, and excellence. Love you all, and God bless you. you.